And we know a tragic incident happened overnight, not a very good thing, about a police officer in Tema who killed his wife, his in-law, and 2 children. 2 little children. And if you get to the internet, you get to see that. Well, I'm sure we'll review that very story very soon. A very gruesome story. We'll try and touch base with our correspondent in Tema, try to get the best, but that's the latest we're getting on that very incident. Gruesome murder. I think it's a suicide. He killed himself, his family. That's the whole of his family, his in-law inclusive, as sad as it can get. Manavi, how are you?
I'm well.
I still love your hair. Did you take it off yesterday?
I did.
Wow.
I couldn't take it through the whole day, but, you know.
There's this thing I read on Lydia Forson's blog overnight.
I heard you talk about it.
Yes, it's great. And
what is it with you and Lydia Forson?
No, I have nothing.
Is it like a sudden connection or something?
No. I just read.
This is just about the first time I'm hearing you talk about her so much.
I just read it, and she said she had traveled and was coming back and saw that the airport had the arrival hall had been done, renewed, etc. But we know the president had gone there, and she thought that we were always negative. Yeah, so I just it was how to inspire yourself if everything around you is negative. I mean, that was something that's
all right, but this incident that you were talking about is actually a policeman who's killed his 2 children, mother-in-law, and himself from Tema.
What I said was
it's unclear. It's unclear what led to the action, but neighbors say the policeman had a disagreement with his wife, following which she moved their 2 children to her mother's home at Community 25. So he actually, stormed the mother-in-law's house, killed his children and killed his mother-in-law, and then turned the gun onto himself. We'll be touching base with Nana Penting, who's a neighbor. We'll hear from him as well, but we'll also speak to our correspondent and our colleague who is there. But let's get into the newspapers, Roland. Let's start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper front page. Prison Service, and this was in our AM News. Prison Service launches short code for Efiase project. EC adjusting calendar to suit December 7. We'll keep budgets in check. Said Tepper there, a picture of him on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. But Minority says economy not doing well. Back page, wash project for 3 districts launched in Kumasi. So you can grab the Daily Graphic newspaper and read a lot more details there. Electoral Commission has also published list of voters who registered with National Health Insurance Scheme card in the Ashanti region, and they say this is the final publication. So if you're in the Ashanti region, you're still unsure if your name has been deleted or not. Thankfully, you can grab today's Daily Graphic newspaper and you can get this pull up and check your name. Roland.
So the front page of the Ghanaian Times story leads Tepe requests 1.8 billion Ghana cedis as supplementary estimate to fund program. Minority says government to blame for economic woes and 10% of Ghanaians are mad. Then you have a picture of the president inaugurating the John Evans Satamio's presidential library in the central regional capital, Cape Coast. Back page, we have urban roads, director inspect asphalt work on whole roads, and Dr. Abbas Awulu has inspected the asphalting work on the whole town roads and lauded the contractors, First Kind Limited, for the brilliant execution of the project. Within 3 months, they've completed the roads. This year's festival Tezan will be sweet.
Let's do the Finder, the front page of the Finder newspaper. Dumso situation baffling. 480 megawatts shared yesterday despite availability of light crude oil. Somebody's certainly not telling the truth here. We have been handed a raw deal according to applicants. Comes with a picture of Prosper Bani, who's the Interior Minister. We'll get deeper into the story to see what it's about. Minority MPs chastise Tekwe for swerving Dumso, which bill overrun by 182.6 million Ghana cedis. Artemil's Foundation gives 300,000 Ghana cedis worth of scholarship to students. These are the front page headlines when you grab the final newspaper. Let's stay on page 2. Inside the paper, 2 stories we'll look at. One says thousands of applicants who constitute a backlog of candidates standing by from the 2013 recruitment exercise into the security services are livid that they have been sidelined in the current ongoing recruitment exercise by the various security services. The shortlisted applicants were waiting for body examination, aptitude test, medical examination, and vetting. That process was stalled due to the government directed to put employment into the public sector on hold. At the time, application forms for recruitment were sold for 20 Ghana cedis, and the security services made tens of thousands of cedis from the sales. So it continues to tell the story of how these people have been shortlisted and they are still waiting whilst there's a new recruitment process happening in the security service. And this story on Dumso also says that despite taking delivery of light crude oil, which is being used to run some thermal power plants, the Electricity Company of Ghana yesterday shared 480 megawatts of power, plunging many communities into further darkness in the worsening rolling power cuts, popularly called Dumso. And data gathered by the finder indicates that off-peak scheduled capacity for yesterday was 1138 megawatts, while off-peak demand was 1,648 megawatts. So more details when you grab the Finder newspaper. Roland?
All right, so front page of the Dispatch has perception in election. It cost mills in 2000 and 2004. And that page, Mahama at Busa South District, Mahama on a student mattress from DCSHS, I'm sure one of our own, inaugurating some projects. Why and how the later Tamils lost 2000 and 2004 elections due to a perception. Okay, so just giving you that perception really doesn't give any indication as far as election results are. Let's do this one before you do the other one, because it's related to the politics of the time. We have also Daily Guide newspaper. Cop kills in-law, 2 kids, a very sad incident. Is gory. Horrid.
It is, but I'm just thinking about this police officer. I mean, like,
and apparently, according to the story to here, he diverted to his residence rather at Committee 25. So it looks as if the place was his. I mean, I think they were staying with him. Kofi Juma convicted, and then we also have Tekwe Dodges Dumso owes Nigeria 150 million US dollars. Nigeria gas. Oh, Charlie. Okay, let me do my regular one. I do use one. It says Nanado not sexy saga. Misbel fires journalist, and I guess this story is about. I think I saw it on social media, saying that he doesn't see the reason why people are criticizing him for endorsing President Mahama. A lot of people have come on the flank. Either you endorse Akufo-Addo or Mahama. It depends on which of the political.
This is the season.
Yeah, you get criticized anyway. You should just stick up with it and Charlie, move on. Sarkodie sponsors Awal's SHS education. That's nice. Good to hear. Rohit from India wins Mr. World. Oh, Ghana did you? I thought Ghana was set on Kwame Tate. When there's Rohit, I'm sure he'll be the next Bollywood king. That's what usually what happens with Indian supermodels, etc.
We want to take the story, and then before we do the Business and Financial Times, the news that we are updating ourselves with really is a story about a policeman who's killed his 2 children, his mother-in-law and himself in Tema. We'll bring you details. A policeman. So our correspondent, Tema correspondent, is joining us via phone to give us a lot more details on this particular story, and Roland will speak to her shortly. But let's do the Business and Financial Times newspaper. We're not going HIPIC, says Tekwe, even as he demands 1.8 billion Ghana cedis more. Government agrees payment plan with WAPCO as power crisis deteriorates. Pay debt to banks quickly, Albert Essien. This story attributed to him. And back page, global capital fueling African property markets. Also, Accra chosen as venue for 2017 Russian African Forum. These are the headlines, front, back page in the Business and Financial Times newspaper. Well,
Right. So a policeman has killed his 2 children. the mother-in-law and himself in Tema. It's also unclear what led to the action, but neighbors say the policeman had a disagreement with his wife, which we should also indicate was a victim in this very incident, following which she moved their 2 children to her mother's home at Community 25. Lance Corporal Amuzu of the Regional Rapid Deployment Force in Tema was at the home of the mother-in-law last night, demanding the release of the children, but she refused. Well, he shot the 3 of them using an AK-47 rifle before killing himself. We have been joined via phone by Bella Ave, Adom FM's Tema regional correspondent. Thanks for joining me this morning, but particularly on this very case, what is the latest based on the earlier reports that we've gotten?
Yeah, the case is still investigation is still ongoing. So we came to the scene this morning to make inquiries on our own. Upon reaching here, the caretaker made us know that the place is an uncompleted building, and his pastor called him to help shelter the wife of the police personnel, because it seems he was having a problem with the wife. So the wife and the wife's mother and the 2 kids moved in to join the caretaker here at the death track. So they moved in last week Thursday. So they were here just yesterday when the police officer came around. But they didn't know, the caretaker, according to the caretaker, he can't really tell how the police officer managed to track where the wife is. So they were there, and then all of a sudden they heard a gunshot. When they went in, they realized the wife wasn't around. The police officer had killed his 2 children, their mother-in-law, and himself. That was what happened. Okay. The wife just moved in. It's not their own residence.
So the wife is not a victim in the incident, is she?
Yes, the wife is at the moment at the Death Traco police station.
We were also told in the report that he came for his armory, or came for his gun in the armory for duty patrols. Did the police say whether he exhibited any sign of perhaps some incognitive behavior?
Sincerely, police is not yet ready to talk to us because they are saying investigation is ongoing and that we should give them some time, and that whatever happens, they'll get back to us. But what really happened and information gathered is what I've delivered to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Bella, just before you go, this is Mama V. Roland. What's the mood where you are, the residence where the mother-in-law and the children were shot dead yesterday?
It's so sad. Residents around at the uncompleted building.
Okay.
I think most of them were not even aware that such people were residing in that uncompleted building until what happened yesterday.
Okay. All right, Bella, we'll leave the conversation here, but thanks a lot for the updates this morning. That's Adom FM's regional correspondent based in Tema. That's Bella Ave. And I can't get my head around this thing that has happened. Really, most of the time you read some of these stories in foreign news.
You know, it's about what will compel somebody to do something, and sometimes, you know, in many of the times, and especially in a part of the world, we don't seem to take the issue of having people's psychological makeup checked all the time. Somebody exhibits some level of irregular behavior, and in our workplaces we don't tend to notice, and something goes to happen to the person at home or somewhere else, and we try to figure out what really may have happened to the gentleman, or what signs he or she may have given out, and we're just not good enough at it.
No. I mean, it's like everybody for him or herself. If you're going through some emotional, difficulties, nobody cares really. It's just you and the challenge that you're faced with. If you're fortunate enough to have really good friends, at least somebody who really knows you and cares about you, then they would probably listen to you and help you sort yourself out. But usually it's just left to you.
It reminds me of a subordinate who had a similar incident the last week or two, not necessarily leading to, but I think he had difficulties, and nobody even recognized it at work. We just thought it was just one of those things. It was just somebody who was dissatisfied or perhaps exhibiting, but apparently he had serious issues.
Roland, we don't have counseling centers where it's not related to a church necessarily, a place where you can just walk in like a social center and find somebody and talk to.
The thing is that for many of those services, we've ceded it to religious heads, and because our society and because our society is also engulfed in that, it becomes a lot more difficult to try and see the head and tail of some of these subjects.
Sure. Roland, we've got to cross over and still stay on the phone lines and speak to the Tema Regional Police PRO, ASP Juliana Obeng, on the same subject. Hello, good morning, Madam. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning.
So we understand that the wife of this late corporal is at the Deftraco police station. Is she being detained, or it's just a procedure in terms of questioning?
No, that's news to me. I do not have that information, but thanks for sharing. I will cross-check and let you know.
So what's the facts here? What should the public know about this incident?
The public should just know that the police in Tema has started investigations into the murder and suicide of one police lance corporal who was the area of unit in Tema, and 3 other persons who, for now, we have gathered are 2 children of his and an in-law.
Do we know if the policeman was going through any challenges, any emotional difficulties?
Well, that's why we started with investigations, and I would want to use the medium to appeal to the general public, people who are kind of close to him, just send with information that would help us from investigations that we have started. We have had lots of stories that are coming up from family, from all of that, but the most important thing for us is for us to get the right information at the right time, so we will be able to work with the information and get the investigation completely done. For now, let us not work with rumors of what is going on and what is not going on, what is right and what is not right. If there's anybody who has information, you should please kindly come to the Tema Regional Police Command, where we have started investigations into this unfortunate incident.
But this is not just any other story, because the man at the center is one of your own. So apart from the fact that you're investigating this, how does the police service receive this news?
The police service received the news with some details they've had. I mean, it's not just okay when you, after a hard day's work, I mean, after everything is done. For those who come for morning are going, and for those that are coming for night are coming, and you get home, and the only call you receive is that something is happening at a certain place. You just sit there, and then you just get to know that one of your very own has been involved in such thing. It wasn't a pleasant one, but well, goodness says, really extend our confidence to the family, and obviously, you know, to the family as well.
When should the public be ready for any information from the police in terms of how far you've come with your investigations, any facts? Because right now we're hearing different sides of the story.
I think that from yesterday up until this morning, what was time for us was to make sure that we create the needed security space within the area for people to go on with their normal activities. And then apart from that, cutting off and make sure that we do not tamper with some evidence that we should gather, and other things that we needed to actually suitable express, and also make sure that we get something forward for somebody doesn't send them to the mortuary so that they are well kept. We will continue with that activities this morning, and then investigations did start yesterday, but just like I said, it's not just any other case. It's a case of murder and suicide involving a police lance corporal with an operational unit in Tema, and so we need to take our time and then go through the steps to make sure that whatever information that we come out with is not just about timeliness, but it's also authentic.
We'll leave it here this morning. Thanks a lot for your time. That's Tema Regional PRO, Police PRO, ASP Juliana Obeng. Well, giving very little though, so basically, the issue is still under investigations. No confirmation yet as to whether or not the wife of this late police officer is with the police station. So,
very sad incident there. We'll give you a lot more updates on this as and when we get a lot more. But we have a couple of your messages too. But it's not as if we just want to brush the issues aside. It's a running story, but it's also a morning show. That's what we do. Malawi, I hope you're not wearing a long hair because of what Councillor Lutrot said yesterday. Please go back to your short hair. Why? I just love how you look today, and that's from Miles.
I only heard what he had said later in the day, and I don't care what he says anyway.
Good morning, President Mahama's administration is not serious at all to solve our own problems as a nation. Challenges in our power outage is worsening because of crude loot and share, and that's from Sule from Sunyane Kutukrum. Good morning, Marvin and Roland. How are you doing? I miss you guys. Okay, I was out for some time and I'm back again, but pray for me if I'm not feeling well. Tell Roland I also like his greetings from Honorable Mohammed Salisu Bamba, Shamsuddin from Ajura.
Shamsuddin. That's a powerful name.
I'm telling you.
Shamsuddin.
Okay. Do we have time to look at that?
Yeah, we do. Benedict Akwesi is on standby, but let's quickly run through some of the stories we have on myjoyonline.com. Is it frogs? Okay, that's a message from the morning, but please, let's move on. Controversy looms as 400 megawatts power deal for $953 million goes to Parliament. Library inaugurated in memory of late Professor Mills. Joy Sports transfer daily, Monday's top 15, and Akwesi has a lot more to share with us. Dumsor to ease by close of business Monday, and we know that this was really a piece of information. It wasn't real because Dumsor is still so real. A lot of places went off, including my community, and I'm very angry this morning about the situation. I don't want to be frustrated yet. I refuse to be frustrated by Dumsor. So Lance Copper kills 3, commits suicide in Tema. We got an update here on the show a while ago. African leaders must return stolen cash, emulate late Mills. That's former Malawian President Joyce Banda speaking there at the Library Commission yesterday. Our power problem is money, not lack of generation capacity. That's SEPA boss saying this. Perhaps as it is, you hardly hear the people who are in charge of generating the power say some of these things. But there are a lot more stories on myjoyonline.com. City FM, vote for Mahama as Voltarians did for JJ. Sohini to Northerners. Mahama piling up debts for Nanado's government. That's according to Katie Hammond. A new 950.
What if Nanado doesn't win? It means that he's piling there for himself.
Yes.
Okay.
But essentially for the country. Here, $953 million per deal, not an emergency solution. And policeman kills himself after shooting. Okay. The story says wife and 2 kids. But what we know here on our show is that he shot his mother-in-law, his 2 children, and himself.
I always thought the wife was involved. Means I got that wrong. If I look up this done and read.
That he shot his wife and his children.
And then the in-law. So
yeah.
Charlie.
The BBC page, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir removes Riek Machar as first vice president 2 weeks after the rival leaders' forces clashed in the capital. And you know that the vice president's spokesperson has said that this action is very much illegal. So, we were to say in the meantime, we don't quite know where the vice president is yet. So South Sudan still a very much unstable place right now.
Africa.
Yeah. Africa, we're always in the news. Pastor chained up son 9 for stealing. And blast heard near Mogadishu airport. Big explosions heard near airport in Somali capital Mogadishu, local media reports. So more heartbreaking African stories, if you like, when you visit the BBC Africa page. For us here on the show, that will be it. for the headlines and an updates or updates on some of the trending issues.
But we also know that at least 19 people have been hacked to death and another 26 seriously injured by a knife-wielding man at a disabled center in faraway Japan.
Yeah.
In what has been deemed the country's worst mass murder since World War II.
And this was very much unexpected as well.
We've had different incidents in Germany as well, suicide, and it's calling to question them receiving over 1 million refugees into the country, etc.
Yeah. The world seemed to be a very unstable place. I mean,
the world has always been stable. It's always been stable. The media has become, the media has become a lot more vibrant.
So
6 million Jews were killed during World War II. So please.
Yeah, but when did World War II happen?
Since then, we've had people killed, civil wars all over. We've had wars in Nicaragua, Colombia.
I find what's happening a bit abnormal, but you seem to think that it's just media.
Yeah, it's just the media now makes information get closer to us. So.
All right. Okay, so still to come here on our show, Ronan, we will talk poverty and inequalities. Yesterday we started this conversation and we're definitely going to continue, but we have to make way. You call him Benedict, I call him Akwesi. He's coming up with sports.